All right, welcome to our season review of Survivor Gabon,
Here we go, Gabon it
the
up.
17th season of Survivor.
It's
All right.
crazy.
Now, if you've been
Oh,
with us traditionally, after every season of Survivor, we do a review. I've been taking Alec chronologically through Survivor from the beginning. Big fan myself, so I know everything that's to come. Alec doesn't know anything that's to come. All right. He doesn't know any spoilers
nothing.
from future seasons or anything. So it's all authentic in the moment. It's like we're in 2008 when this
Yeah.
came out.
Wow. I was probably when we'll probably go into when exactly this aired. Probably in
Yeah,
the
that's the next slide
I think.
actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, perfect.
I believe it aired up through December 2008, so it was right at the end.
Okay. I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Senior in high school. Yeah.
All right. And I was 12, so
Yeah. I
we
was 17.
yeah, this is new. This is a new change here. I put together a slideshow. I've kind of like opened my mind's eye to Google Slides and what it can do. Now we're presenting, we're sharing it together so I can actually go to the next slide and he sees it in real time. So can have some
Yeah.
fun with that. So instead of
It'd be
having
good.
to like send him separate links for things and stuff like that, I can just have it all here.
Right on a slide, just
Nice
like
and
that.
easy.
So don't have to see the.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Don't
So
have to
we got a lot of
get messy
ground to
with it.
cover. We're
Okay.
gonna talk about. I split into. I have a slide that's the pre-merge, and then the
Hmm.
merge. We're gonna talk about Survivor Superlatives. So you're gonna award your pre-jury gem award, cutie of the
Yep.
season, favorite
Hmm.
player, and I'll say who won the MVP, which has been tabulated all season long.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
and then there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of segments. I think I maybe even forgot one now that I think of it. But yeah, we'll talk on some key parts of this
Questions?
key parts of the season. A lot of questions and comments to scroll through, and ultimately, I also did a first for this season where I gave predictions at the start of the
Oh, right,
season.
right, right. Uh-huh.
So I tried to predict what your different awards would be, and I
Hmm.
predicted the ranking. The ranking will be done in a separate video that we're going to record right after this.
Hmm.
But as we do it, I'll unveil what my prediction was. We'll see if I was right or not. You know. But
Nice.
yeah. So let's go through it. Like this is interesting because I have a full screen. This slideshow. I didn't
Mm.
exactly memorize the exact order, so I don't know exactly the flow. So it's the
Okay.
first time doing this. But
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm
There's
gonna
always there's always a little
workshopping
learning
it.
curve. Yeah.
The first slide is gonna have the DVD cover on it, which is our typical show off the DVD
Classic.
cover.
Yep.
I think this one is the most. I'm just gonna say up front. I think this one's the most egregious in terms of leaving out some key people. And it's a shame
Wow.
because it's the HD cover, but there you
Yeah.
go.
Let's just see it.
Here you go. Here's the cover. All right, so we got Bob, you got Sugar, you got
Yeah.
Ken,
Yeah.
we got Maddie, but then
Yeah.
we got
Randy?
Randy and Corinne. Now, where's Crystal? Where's Crystal?
Where's Crystal?
And where's Susie, our
Where's
queen?
Sue? I was gonna say where's Susie? Susie and Crystal
I
belong there more than Randy and Corinne.
know.
I guess Randy was
It's
popular,
like let's
but
get more white people on this cover.
yeah, it's just more white people.
Like wow, that
We
would
need
really
more.
make it interesting.
We got Ken on here already. We don't need any more
Like
more
come on, you just take
representation.
out Randy, you put Susie up there, queen. Take out Corinne, put Crystal right there, and you got a
Yeah,
perfect. Because it's like, yeah, Randy and Corinne are memorable players, but I
right.
think it's almost the perfect. If you just kept the final six as the final six on here,
Yeah,
got a
it would have
perfect
been pretty perfect.
summation of the season
Yeah,
there. So
especially because like Susie is one of those like secretly really important key players in the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Like, and so it was kind of, you know, as as it all turned out, But
And Crystal,
it's kind of funny.
obviously, huge impact on the season, and
Yeah.
she made it to the final six. And one thing you're not gonna not have an opinion on Crystal, you know.
Right,
Strong
exactly.
personality. But it's like, okay, Randy, yes. But yeah, so it was a film June to July 2008 and aired September to December 2008.
Okay.
So first HD season. How do you feel about the high definition?
Yeah, I mean, they've made the most of it. There's some pretty. The cinematography has not, like, I wouldn't say it's drastically like changed. Like, it's still very much like, it feels very much the same sort of camera crew, but they're now freed to have glamour shots, like in widescreen. You know, it's a widescreen, high definition. It just looks, the season looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's it's a nice to see them embrace the format, and they're not really doing anything like overly fancy with it, but it's, I don't know, it just makes everything a little, just pop a little, that much more.
Yeah, you got
So,
nice. It's a nice area to have some good wildlife shots. I mean, there's a
yeah.
lot to pick from out here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You get
So,
the gorillas, the elephants,
mm.
all number of creatures out there. But do you want to give your general thoughts up front on Gabon, how you feel about it now before we actually go into the nitty gritty?
Yeah. So Gabon is like, I would say it's interesting looking, like, because I was thinking about this today, in preparation for this. I think like it's a strange season in a lot of ways. I think in that it's not like, if I'm thinking about like, wow, I really liked that season. It's not really there, but I would say that it did stay consistently engaging and entertaining the whole time. Like, it didn't, there weren't like tons of peaks and valleys. It
Mm,
was like, it kind of was like a plateau. In To me, that's maybe why it doesn't stand out so much in a lot of ways. There were a couple moments that do stand out quite a bit.
yeah,
Um, but I think is episode 9, the 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 Randy the Randy
the best
incident.
one. It's the best
That's
episode.
pretty. It's the best episode easily, I think. But yeah. It didn't, but it didn't have like tons of valleys. It did maybe earlier on. Survivor early on is always a little. It's always a little difficult because you have a lot more players. You have
Yeah,
a lot more personalities to juggle.
Eh,
It can be hard to stay engaged like super early on. That's always
they
hard.
never truly
Um,
invested in the people going early.
yeah, but it did still stay at a pretty reasonable degree, pretty similar in terms of, I felt, in terms of its entertainment value, and I think even to a degree, it's terms of its engagement. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, it didn't have the highest highs. It did have some kind of kind of dull lows, in the sense that like it wasn't like there weren't lows, but for all of the strategic play in the game, which was mostly facilitated by Ken, there was just so much stupidity around everything, and then he bungled the like kind of a, not maybe a sure thing, but he bungled his opportunity at the end like super hard, and then that was like, so it was like, it makes sense for the season, I guess, because there's just all kinds of nonsense going on. um but yeah, I don't know. It's a very unusual season, but it's going to stand out to me in the sense that like we've seen a lot of Survivor seasons where people have been playing. There's a lot of like mind games and strategery, and people controlling the game. And this kind of felt like a weird throwback to like way earlier seasons where people weren't like necessarily
Yeah,
playing that way,
yeah.
like for a significant portion of the game.
Just
So
talking about, yeah, even late in the game, like I hate this person. Is
yeah,
a lot of petty. We talked about a lot of petty drama in
yeah,
the middle. Come the
yeah,
merge.
big time.
But yeah, I'll say Gabon is pretty divisive as a season.
Mm,
There are people that truly love it.
mm.
Um, I guess I'll go into my thoughts on it later. But there's people that truly love it. There are people that hate it. But I feel like more so, it's one of those things that over time people are going to appreciate more. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy 13 type trajectory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little bit of a tough pill to swallow maybe at first, but
And now, and just now, when you hear about it, I usually hear good things. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's one of those. If you like the mess, I like the mess, so I was here for that.
Yeah.
It's for you, and yeah, people talk about it a lot where the strategy is not quite there. A lot of mistakes, but I like
The
some
mess.
mistakes. So
That's why I think that's why it stayed entertaining the whole time. Like it wasn't a mess that was like frustrating or annoying. It was a mess that was just fun and funny and entertaining to see people like, I don't know, screw up and
yeah.
it felt relatable in a weird way. It's like, yeah, I guess if I was on there, I'd probably screw some stuff up. I don't know.
But
So
it's one of those seasons that really takes on a life of its own, because by the end of it, every next mistake that happens, it's like, oh yeah, that's Gabon right there.
yeah.
And then the winner, we got Bob sitting there who just won against Susie in a 4-3
Yeah.
vote. Sugar with 0 votes. And it's just like, how do we end up here? If you said that in episode 1, it would blow your mind.
You'd be like, what? How did Bob win?
Because Bob is invisible if the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think there was even an episode that you said they're like, all right, we got anything for Bob, and Bob has like, yeah, things are going whatever at camp, and it's like, all right, that's it. We get our check in with Bob.
There were sometimes where there's like key votes in that tribe, and we didn't hear his input at all. He just voted wherever, and then But it's like, yeah, he's the winner, and then we have Susie, who's like 1 vote away from winning. Who the only thing, like pretty much the majority of the content we got throughout the season was checking in on like how her tribe hates her for this or that.
Yeah, despises her for like almost no reason, seemingly no reason. Yeah. I mean, they do have reasons. I just, it's like, man, how petty can you get?
It's like that content in the pre-merge, and then in the merge, it's like she's just sitting there. You don't hear from anything she has to say, barely at all. And then Sugar is ever present.
But then Susie also has some key pivotal votes where it's like she is kind of a determining vote, like when it comes to a lot of things.
And then Sugar's our through line, though, our chaotic through line for the season. She's present from the jump, from the Ace stuff all the way to the end. So
the Ace saga onto the whatever you want to call after that.
You mentioned saga. Dreams before. It is very much like a dreams trajectory.
Yeah.
Of like she's going this way and that, doing whatever, and then ultimately is not respected at the end. Gets no votes. So
yeah, it's like, wow, okay,
but
yeah, that is interesting. That is very dreams. Huh? Yeah. Interesting.
So here's the pre-merge. I figure it would be, as while we're talking about the pre-merge, you might as well give your pre-jury gem as we go into it, and talk about what are some standout moments from the pre-merge. Now, when you look at the pre-merge, are there certain moments that stand out to you?
I always think of, let's see. There's a lot of stuff with GC. A lot of stuff with GC about him being a leader, determining a leader. We can't decide leader. Maybe I could be the leader. Oh, we'll make you the leader. Okay, I guess I'm the leader.
He didn't want to be the leader.
I don't want to to be the leader. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then he doesn't, and then he's not the leader anymore.
You can't make me be your leader. He just retires.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then he goes off on his own, before the challenge, which was entertaining. We have Ace's control of a lot of his tribe, a lot of the game. He's a divisive presence, but his alliance with having Sugar, he has Sugar in his pocket,
Mm-hmm.
Having that alliance keeps him strong, and even though there's a lot of times where that seemed to work to his disadvantage, because there were times that he seemingly was relying on her performance and challenges and just did not do particularly well.
Yeah. Well, when something comes to mind looking at this, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Day 9, we switched to a different tribe. And it just settled in my mind that Randy was only with that Fang tribe for like 9, maybe 10 days, and he proceeded
Hmm.
to hate with his entire being. He hated Crystal the rest of the season for that
Yeah.
10-day
9
stretch.
days, 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
come all the way into the merge, and he's still hating her like 2 weeks later. It's like
Yeah.
that's wild to me. But you almost
That
forget
is
that
kind
that's
of
where
crazy.
Randy started because he's so like cemented
Yeah.
in the Coda side after that.
Yeah.
But in
Um.
Michelle, we got the little taste of she's hot, she's
Yeah.
hot.
She's hot. She's hot. And then
Eat the termite,
uh, eating
it'll
the
be
termite.
hot.
Yeah.
Jillian with her elephant dung, and the old man that sucked on the hill, the old woman that sucked on the hill.
Sucked in the hill. And the old woman that sucked on the hill. It's like, is that a little children's? Is that a children's tale that we need to know about?
Paloma had some
Um.
potential. I feel like she could have been. She could have
She
been
was.
fun.
She was kind of adorable. Honestly, she was.
She had the cartoony like
Yeah. She was
girly
like, hi,
voice.
hi. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Um.
Jackie's someone I feel like was a good player. Wasn't entertaining.
Yeah.
We didn't get much from her, but
Didn't get much.
she
Yeah.
could have done well if she wasn't just swapped into this unfortunate tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kelly,
GC was.
yeah,
I was gonna. Oh, we already talked about GC. He's the chaotic element,
yeah,
big time of that early part of the season. Kelly is just certified hater. There was a lot of haters in this season, and she was the
a
first
lot of
one that
mess,
like
yeah.
really shined.
But I remember Michelle, even in her tribal council, as they're on her way out, she was like, she was just throwing shit. Like she was
Yeah.
throwing. She was even like saying stuff about Ken, like just throwing stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Big time.
Ace hole.
Ace
His
hole.
ace
The
hole.
ace hole. Yeah.
Um,
There was a lot of potential with that, but he was swayed, and by he was swayed, it was Sugar was swayed
yeah.
in the wrong
Even though he
direction.
defended her to the bitter end,
Hmm.
thought he had sugar in his pocket.
He did not.
I love his confessional where he looks back at the elephant.
Oh yeah. Beautiful
Oh, it was
moment.
beautiful.
Beautiful. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
Dan.
And Dan the lawyer man, he's just kind of a weirdo. I don't know. They said something interesting about there was some interesting part in the reunion special where he mentioned there's something kind of like weird that he said, but it was sort of like, yeah, if it was sort of like yeah, if you believe that or something, or it was like, yeah, if you believe what the edit said or so. Like there was something that they kind of there was a little underhanded shade at the at how he was portrayed, maybe. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Because it wasn't a good look for him. Like, it was
yeah,
like he didn't do anything wrong. He just got so much hate
right,
from people.
yeah.
Um,
And then Marcus, who's just who's there,
Marcus, he technically, well, no, he didn't make the merge, but we thought
right?
he thought he did. He threw out that idol
Mhm.
and everything.
Yeah,
And then he got Susie.
he immediately get axed. Yeah,
Got Susie. No, this is
so
something I forgot to mention. This is the segment I forgot to add. Is
okay.
that I believe the only person to pass away from this cast is Dan.
Oh,
And
that's
it was in
unfortunate.
2016. He was like 40 years old,
Yeah,
but we don't know the cause of it. They never released what the cause of
Hmm.
death was. So, but
that's
sad.
that's too bad. Yeah, that is sad. That's way too young.
Yeah.
Awful. Well,
Okay, so this is when I predicted.
okay.
I'm writing it down on my paddle.
Okay, just to reveal it. Okay,
Just for posterity.
okay.
All right, who's the pre-jury gem?
I was torn. I'm torn a little bit between two people, but I gotta give it to Ace.
You got to give
I
it
really
to
gotta
Ace.
give
I
it-
mean, that's
I gotta give it to Ace.
Yeah.
I mean, GC is like the chaos, but like Ace was just. I wanted to see Ace go a lot further in the game. He was just such an engaging personality.
Yeah.
So he had just this weirdly like overly eloquent way of talking about everything, and it was just like I just wanted him to stick around because it's just like it's seeing that bounce off of these people who hated him. Like it was just kind of fun.
Yeah.
So,
Brewing a
yeah.
little brewing villain like almost becoming like a super villain, but
Yeah.
didn't get.
He's
Didn't
got that
quite
Lex.
get
He's
there.
got that Lex Luthor look to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Kelly on her way out, he had to throw some digs at her. Like,
Yep.
I'm surprised you even understood what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall,
Yeah.
I feel like, the pre-jury, it's here or there. I mean, there's not too many crazy moments. The jury's where I think it really starts to, or the merge where it starts to shine more, I think. So here's the merge. All right, so Charlie. So this is what's interesting is like even when it was the stretch of Charlie, Randy, and Corinne, which is like in a typical season, it's like a boring, like pagonging almost from Fang.
Yeah.
Except for Bob because he won immunity at that point.
Right. Right.
But even then, it was like those are some of the most interesting episodes. The way that they all went out, they were all like the bottom of your power rankings each time, for the most part.
But it was still yeah. How those all ended up
The circumstances,
happening was so interesting every single time. It's true.
So the Charlie one at the merge was crazy because Charlie you would think would not be in danger at all.
No,
and it was just because Ken was pissed about Charlie throwing his idol clue for everybody else to see.
Yeah, it was sour grapes. That was like petty. That was petty to the point where I was like, I kind of love that. That's so devious because Charlie is well liked. He, everybody likes him. He seems like he could be an interesting player in the game because he has ties in pretty much everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And was not to be.
And we could have gotten more from Charlie for sure. He ultimately his edit on the show was reduced to the guy who had a crush on Marcus for the rest of the season. Like every time we checked in on him, it was like, I love Marcus and this to that. And it's them as a little duo for a bit, and then we get to the merge and he's just gone. So
right.
But yeah, that was the merge. Was just all the petty drama coming in. Everybody hates each other.
Right.
Has a grudge against each other, one reason or another.
Well, our next two are the biggest haters of them all. It's
Randy.
Randy.
He's quite the character.
He's...
I know there are people that really like Randy as a character on the show. I just can never fully get into it after some of the comments, but
yeah.
I appreciate him as an antagonistic force in general. It's just like a weird personality you don't really see in Survivor. He's just like a grumpy old man about everything.
He's a grumpy old man, but which is weird because he's only 40. He's barely 50. He's not even 50 coming in. But it's sort of like
62.
Yeah. But it was sort of funny because like there is a customer of mine that he sort of reminds me a little bit of, whose house I go to. He's just kind of a weird oddball sort of personality, and like he'll just say things and you don't know if he's serious or not, and you can never tell because he doesn't really let you in on it.
Yeah.
And that was exactly that's how he was in the reunion special, and I that kind of, it's not going to redeem him all the way, but that did a little bit to kind of redeem him back a little bit for me, because I was like, what is this guy? Like, who is this guy? Like, he's just such a strange, you said, like almost like a force. Like, he's just an unusual person.
Yeah.
And
even at the reunion, he's saying, I haven't told a joke this whole time. But he's clearly telling jokes, especially in that reunion.
Joking. Yeah.
I mean, so you can't get a full read on him. Corinne, right. But the circumstances around Brandy's episode was crazy, like you said.
Yeah,
perhaps the best episode of the season there.
Yeah, the fake idol, the most incredible fake idol you've ever seen in your life. They were totally right. That looked like one of the ones they would have made. It was incredible. Freaking Bob coming out of here.
And Sugar just literally just wanted to do it for fun. He's like, "Can you just do this for me, Bob?" And be great.
Bob's like, sure.
All right. And then he didn't like how he laughed. You didn't have to humiliate him on the way out.
Mm,
An all-time episode there.
it was big time.
Corinne, not big on Corinne, huh?
No, I don't. I don't.
Nope. She embraces that she's not a nice person. At least that's. Just, but it's so much to the extent just like that's her shtick. It's like I'm the mean girl is my shtick.
Right.
So it's like I don't know how authentic it is. It seems like that's just her, but at the same time she's pushing. It's like a marketing thing, and it's like that's my thing. Just like
pharmaceutical,
like a Johnny Fairplay in a way. Like he plays it up. He's a villain,
right? But hers was like a lot less, fun. It was way more like Mean Girls or like I don't know. It just it wasn't. But Mean Girls is fun too. It wasn't in a fun way. I'll just say that. But she's a pharmaceutical saleswoman, so you know that she's actually evil.
Because it was like I was gonna say, Luigi, where you at?
Luigi, what's going on?
It's not like anyone had wronged her, really. It was just like purely just like
spite. It was spite.
I hate her. Susie, I hate her.
Yeah, no, it's just spite. It's just pure spite, and
sometimes it's funny, sometimes it wasn't.
Yeah.
The final tribal council thing, maybe not so much.
No, that was awful. It was mostly I guess it was mostly entertaining up until that moment, and then it was like, ooh, that's crossing a line.
Wow, there's a lot of 29-year-olds in here. You see this?
Yeah, I see that.
29.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But they really were trying to hit like a quota of like just right around that 30.
You don't want to hit 30 though. 30, you're no good.
You don't want to hit 30. That's too weird.
Crystal's up next. Unfortunate when Crystal and Ken seem to be in a good position, and with that whole Corinne debacle, they fumbled it.
Yeah,
they Bob and Corinne fooled them with the whole fake idol, Operation Fake Idol 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then within that, Ken's like, "No, you still vote for Corinne. I'll vote for Maddie," and messed it all up. If they just both voted for Maddie, who knows? This whole game could be completely different.
Yeah, could have been.
Would have been interesting to see. Yeah, like would Ken, Crystal, Corinne, and Bob have stuck together there? I don't know.
Maybe
at that point, because at that point they would have been in the middle. We would have had Susie and Sugar over here, and Corinne and Bob over there. Would have been interesting, almost like 3 pairs at that point. But Crystal gave us so much gold throughout the
season. She did. Yeah, she was always like, she was sort of reminiscent in a lot of ways of like a Stephanie, where it's like everything just kept going wrong for her. Like she didn't really ever win a reward. She never really won an immunity. But she just kept fighting. She just kept going at it despite that. And like emotions ran over like they would. Like any human competitor would have emotions boil over, but like she was a fighter, and then her commentary was gold.
Yeah.
It was always gold, as being a gold medalist would
love
give you.
Both her and Sugar's voting confessionals when they voted for Randy, both gold.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites. But it's funny because Crystal like feels like an underdog in a way, but she really wasn't. Like and Ken were kind of like they got their way the entire season pretty much.
Yeah, they put themselves in a really good position when they finally were able to sort of work their way in and kind of convince various factions at different points to like be on their side. I mean they did have themselves in a pretty good spot.
We got Ken.
Yeah.
You like that? This archetype I tend to like.
I love the strategery, maybe this kind of underhanded, devious strategist. Pseudo villain of the season, like de- definitely, I would say, because especially with the moves towards the end where it's like you got a little too big for your britches. I mean, I love how he even just straight up admitted it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got way too cocky,
Yeah.
like way too cocky,
But even
and that
in the
was my
confessional,
downfall."
he was like full on
Yeah,
cocky. He's like, "Yeah, I'm running this
yeah,
game. If I just get
yeah,
like they're all just doing what I say, and I get my way every time. If I get to the end, I'm gonna win this thing. No problem."
yeah. It's like he
He's,
thought he could see the. It's like almost like he thought he could see the Matrix, but he really did not at
he
all.
spent
Like
yeah
he's like,
he literally just saw I'm gonna get to the end, and so much so he forgot he has to get there,
all right,
and he was like, "Well, I can just kind of get the vote wherever I want, and I won't have any consequences. I have that much control.
right,
I can just all right. Let's have Bob give me his immunity, and then we'll vote him out, and everybody will just
mm,
do that. They'll be fine with it." And then completely
yeah,
backfired.
yeah.
Maddie, how do you feel about Maddie?
Um, for being the kind of dude bro, kind of the guy archetype, he still had like quite a number of moments that were a lot of fun. I thought still there were some times where he'd like come back and he's in like great spirits and he'd like try to cheer somebody. I don't remember who it was. I think maybe it was Randy. He was like, "Oh, come on, Randy, like whatever." And then he just like got completely rebuffed, and then it bummed him out super hard, and it was like, "Oh."
Maddie
um,
had a whole arc in the pre-merge where he was just like, just completely down on his luck. Like, man,
yeah.
nothing's going right for us. We can't win
Mm,
any challenges. We have no hope.
hmm.
He would say stuff like that.
Yeah, but then he got happy. He got happy in kind of mid game.
Yeah.
Kind of got a little lease on life a little bit. But
Yeah, ever since Marcus
yeah,
got voted out and he had that reaction, it was on the
yeah,
upward trajectory since then.
yeah, yeah. Because he felt. I think Marcus was really his biggest competition. I think is what he felt. Um,
Well, they got into a position that was good, like him and
yeah,
Fong.
yeah. And then
Final three.
yeah, and well, yeah, with the final three, but also with Maddie, you also
Uh,
have the proposal.
yeah, the proposal. Yeah, that's
The proposal.
probably the most memorable Maddie thing. Really
Yeah, it was pretty
loves
memorable. It
his
was very
girlfriend Jamie. Big
yeah,
big proposal moment.
yeah.
So here we are, our
And then our
final three. Sugar. Sugar,
yeah,
how you
like you
feel
said,
about?
the through line of the season. I mean, she is chaos incarnate, and by that I just mean like um it it's just emotion driven, and that leads to a lot of ultimately in this season led to a lot of fun.
Hmm. I'm
Because she
realizing we're going through the whole cast, and we're
yeah,
gonna rank the cast in a separate video too. So we pretty much did the whole
yeah,
discussion here.
yeah, um
But yeah, the Sugar, a lot of
yeah,
fun.
a lot of fun. Susie, like I think like I said earlier, surprisingly pivotal moments revolving around her vote. Um, Not the most interesting. She was kind of invisible, kind of like Bob for a good period of time. Other than everyone hated her
Yeah.
and wanted her gone.
There's something about Susie. She just has this aura about her that I just always loved, even though like she does pretty much nothing entertainment wise. It's like even her
She
confessionals are just straightforward.
yeah.
Just like yeah, I'm thinking this. I
I
don't know.
I think that might be it. She's just a very straightforward person. Like she even straight up said to Corinne, I was even thinking of voting you out, which was probably the stupidest thing you could have told Corinne, but um
And then she's just an unbothered queen for the most of the end here.
basically,
And
yeah.
like okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
go ahead and
pretty
get
much. And
yourself
she
three
almost won.
votes.
And she almost won. So there's that.
I think it would
And
have
then
been so
Bob.
funny if Susie won this season.
that would have been
with this
insane.
exact edit. Like, don't give her more screen
Yeah.
time. Just the exact edit we
Yeah.
have, and then just Susie win. She didn't do anything. Like she did
It's
the
just
one
kind of
vote
like
and then just sat there. Yeah,
that's insane. That would have
Bob.
been crazy.
Bob, one of the most unexpected
Yep.
comp beasts ever.
Yeah, for
Force.
sure.
Like he said, it was
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 competitions in a row, including
Yeah.
rewards. It was like,
Yeah.
it was
That's crazy.
crazy run, and he had no business getting there. If he didn't win those, he would have been gone. Because
Hmm.
everybody kept saying we gotta get Bob out as soon as we can get Bob out. We don't get Bob, we
Yeah.
get Maddie out. And then he just
Right.
slid in there.
Just
And
kept
then
winning
even
them.
when they could have just got him out, Sugar was like, but I spent so much time thinking he was going to be in the end. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So let me make a tie, and then you guys can duke it out.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Like
pretty crazy.
he like should have been gone there. Really, like
Right.
if Sugar was voting like optimally, you take out Bob final four, and then
All right.
probably Maddie wins, which
Probably Maddie won. Yeah.
would have been whatever. But
Yeah.
so who's Alec's favorite player? Let me write down what my prediction was.
Mm-hmm. You probably got a spot on here too. Honestly.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think so. Actually, I would have
Oh, okay.
predicted something different now, but
Oh, okay. Okay. It's Ken. I love Ken.
It's Ken.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Who was you? Who were you thinking? I was gonna say though.
I thought you were gonna
here?
say Crystal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I love Crystal. Crystal and Ken were like the duo of the season, definitely. But taking up the reins of Sugar and Ace, who were the pre-merge duo, entertainment couple.
Mhm.
But no, it was Ken, definitely. Yeah.
I think when I watched the season initially, I was definitely rooting for Ken, for sure. But upon rewatching him, like, wow, yeah, I didn't give Crystal enough credit. I think Crystal would be my favorite now after a rewatch.
She did a lot of really, yeah. I mean, she was just a very, very loyal, and I think kind of eased. I think she did a decent job. I mean, you can kind of infer a little bit of this, but I think she did a decent job of like trying to temper a little bit his ambition until she got caught up in the moment with him, and neither of them were really thinking.
Well,
yeah, and then he just was like, no, I can do this. We can do this, and no.
Because Crystal and Ken are this fun kind of like unlikely duo that run most of the season.
Yeah,
and Crystal just now watching it, I'm like, I think Crystal's just more entertaining for me, so that's why I have more appreciation for Crystal now. And Sugar, I've always liked Sugar too. So,
yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think that's probably my top three. Actually, probably would be Sugar would be in there too. So
I'm 2 for 2 so far.
Yeah, how about that?
Survivor Superlatives. So we covered 2 of them. Let's do the other ones now.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only a couple. There's only the like, cutie of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I think you probably know my answer here too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
it's Sugar.
It's Sugar.
It's Sugar. It's Sugar. I mean, she's just sweet and cute and funny and yeah. I mean, she was a source of consistent entertainment.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And then the last award is the MVP, which is tabulated all season long.
Right.
So every episode, Alec awards an MVP for that episode, which can be awarded for any reason. Usually just the most entertaining or most impacts kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then add them up. Whoever got the most MVPs is the MVP. And that season, that was Crystal.
All right.
Crystal got like 4 or 5 MVPs. I remember there was a stretch that was like 3 in a row. Crystal.
Yeah.
I think the next person was Sugar, who had 3. So, Crystal. There you go.
Crystal was always a source, like I said, always an extreme source of entertainment. Confessionals were always like gold. You know, you were getting gold from her in that. So yeah.
All right, overall pros and cons of the season. All right, what are the big pros and cons for you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of covered a little bit of it already. But pros are it's a pretty entertaining cast, especially post merge. Just because of the mess, like the mess keeps it interesting. We have like the strategic through line, and people trying to like figure ways in and out of or and around that. Rainey and Corinne are trying their thing, and but they're trying to sit on their laurels and trust in the previous alliances. But
Pro mess, con mess.
Con is kind of the same thing. It's like con is that is actually maybe that's it. It's sort of like it is both. Like I think it is, but kind of both a strength and a weakness of the season. Because it can kind of be a little like, it can almost feel like whiplash to be like, we're going this certain way, and it's like, and then we're going on this trek now, and we still have the grounding force of Ken and Crystal doing their thing and being able to kind of weave their way, and that's why like the middle part of the season is really good. And that kind of falls apart towards the end, and then early on is just sort of like, it's all this like emotion and like Ace and Sugar, and yeah, and so
Yeah, if you think of the highlights of the season, there's no like, oh, this strategic move with this brilliant move.
right.
Every highlight I think of is like Crystal and Sugar's voting confessionals for Randy, is just tricking Randy to play the fake idol, even though it didn't actually impact the vote. It's like these character moments, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you think like strategic stuff. I'm like, okay, Crystal and Ken got Susie to vote with them and that pre-merge thing. After that, not really much comes to mind.
No. Yeah.
So
it's like, especially with the way Survivor's been trending in like the last slew of seasons, there's been a lot more like strategy and utilizing the gimmick of the season and to your advantage. And there wasn't really a lot of that. Like Sugar having the idol was kind of this weird through line where it's like she never really needed it or had to use it because she never got votes. She was always kind of like a backseat. Like she's kind of annoying to some people, but she's also likable enough. And then she's got her own strategic moves of herself, even though a lot of it was due to being lied to.
Yeah, she either lied to. She was like lied to about Ace, and then kind of lied to about Charlie in a way, and then emotionally she sees Crystal and Ken accosting Maddie, and she's like, you know what, I want the good guys to win, so we flip this way. And then she sees Bob is about to go. She's like, no, but I like Bob, he's like a father figure to me, and I kind of wanted him in the end, so let me just make it a tie. It's never like, ooh, let me pull off this amazing maneuver. You know?
Yeah.
But because Micronesia is so good, I feel like, because it has a lot of like really good strategic maneuvers and also bad mistakes as well, all in one season. And it's funny because Sugar kind of hogged the idol the whole time. You saw the idol getting bounced around a lot more in Micronesia. That was interesting too, is that they were all like a couple blind sides involving the idol in the same season, and some fun strategy as well. So this is very character heavy. It's like if you like character moments, you like the drama and the mess, you like the season. And I usually like the strategy, but I've grown to appreciate more and more over the years the character moments. So
yeah. What?
Next slide. Marcus's penis. All right.
Was this? I don't remember what
this was.
What's this about?
So I didn't know where else to put Marcus's penis. I just threw it right here.
Okay.
It's just a fun fact that in one of the episodes, initially Marcus's penis is uncensored and made it through the cut to like.
Oh my gosh! Is that? I'm assuming they caught that in the DVD. So
I don't know. I don't know if it's in the DVD. Actually, that's a good point, because I only know it's not in the online content now, but it made it to like live TV. So it was like a little controversial moment because he just kind of run it and his penis like pokes out through his shorts, type of little thing. So, you know,
he's either got really short shorts or a Magnum dong. So it's like good for you, I guess. You know, either way.
Just a little peekage. Little peekage. If you search, well, you don't search it, but if you search it, it comes right up. Survivor,
I'm sure.
Gabon Marcus penis. That's what I searched.
Yeah, it's just like, there it is. You got it. There you got it. There he is.
Yeah, I should have just included like a little video, just Marcus's penis. Jump scare.
Jump scare. Oh, like a gif of it.
Yeah. Because that's what I think I saw. I think that's how I saw it originally, was through a GIF.
Oh.
All right, here's some post-game content. All right. And traditionally, these reviews like to bring out different things, like people's lives, things that come up, the good and the bad. There's the mix.
Yeah.
There's always a mix.
Oh yeah, there's always a mix. Oh yeah, we know a lot about that.
So these are just a couple of highlights.
Okay, right? Cool.
Oh, first of all, here's this GIF that I see everywhere to this day.
Don't say GIF. Stop saying it that way.
It is GIF.
That bothers me.
It's the correct way to say it.
You can be wrong. You can be a creator of something and be wrong.
Look at it, it's so good.
It happens. That is one of my favorite things ever.
And I've seen so good. I saw it like just the other day on some random unrelated thing too, and it's still out there.
That's pretty incredible. I
didn't even mean it this way, but it's kind of like they're reacting to the content that's about to unfold here.
Yeah, apparently so. There might be some horrifying stuff and some fun stuff along the way too.
All right, here's Maddie. Well, this is just Maddie.
He's doing Hot Yoga Friday.
Yeah, he's doing
Hot Yoga Lounge. Stuff. All right.
It would be funny if I actually did this for every person, like a modern.
Yeah, it would be like, here they are today.
Kind of cool. I just took the key ones I want to talk about. So Maddie had the proposal on the island and everything.
Yeah.
And it did not last, unfortunately. And with how passionate he was, like, it's sad.
It was very,
that's lifelong. They were so in love.
Yeah.
But that's basically it.
The passion burned out just real quick, I guess,
It's unclear. I think it was only a couple years it lasted about. So that's all. That's all for Maddie.
Okay.
Here's Jackie. All right. This is just Jackie. All right. Nothing to see here, right? Nothing that interesting. But the backstory here is that this guy was a Survivor producer who got fired because he got in a relationship with Jackie. Right?
Oh, okay.
So
wait a minute. Hold on. Jeff's been in relationships with people.
Right. But I guess, I don't know. It was like getting involved. Well, I guess it was something during the season involved somehow.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe it's getting involved during the production.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that could be a problem.
Yeah. So there was something in the article that said something like he went, after he was fired, he like went off into the jungle for a couple days, and then he had to come back out for alcohol. It was a whole thing. I don't know.
Okay. Well, they've got 2 beautiful children, so.
Yeah, but it lasted, so that's
good.
But he got fired for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sometimes you gotta get fired over love, I guess.
All right, I don't know exactly which ones are next, so it's kind of unnerving.
Okay.
Oh, Bob.
Bob.
Oh,
Bob. Oh, Bob. Oh.
All right,
okay.
Bob. All right.
Yeah.
I'll just preface this by saying that some of the cast members after the season have said that Bob was a bit of a pervert. Yeah.
Okay.
He had a pervy side that they kind of didn't show.
Okay.
Maybe because he was the winner, they make him look a little better. So this is just one excerpt, one interview. All right. He said, "Were you surprised by Bob's reaction following Randy's elimination when he yelled at you? I mean, it's not like he was involved in it." Sugar said, "Yes, I was surprised. Bob was a hot temper, and he's gone off on people for no reason sometimes, like women crew members. So I don't know. Bob's opinion really does count to me, but Bob has been trying to kill me since the beginning of the game. There was absolutely no rhyme or reason as to why I should help Bob, besides the fact that I thought him as a father figure, even though he was a little bit of a pervert during the game. I still try to look past that. Can you elaborate on that? That wasn't really shown at all. They didn't want Bob to seem like that, so they cut out anything like that. But Crystal knows what I'm talking about."
Wow.
Yeah. So Crystal, I know Crystal had mentioned something too, like in the night, like he was a little touchy, like some touchiness going on. So, like, there's definitely a reality where it's like a whole John Robert situation behind the scenes. So they just didn't show because he was the winner. But yeah.
I was gonna say there weren't a whole lot of like nighttime sleeping scenes that we saw in this. I guess everyone was pretty comfortable at night.
Well, who knows?
Maybe a little too comfortable.
Cause, yeah, there was definitely a moment I heard that Crystal like blew up on Bob for like apparently touching her during the night, and then Corinne made some comments about like, Bob was a bit of a perv, but I kind of liked it because he would like compliment my boobs randomly.
Oh, okay.
He would talk about her boobs. Like,
okay, sure. I mean, sure. If you're, I guess.
He's got Peggy back home. Relax,
Yeah, what the
Bob.
hell?
Bob's
Yeah, Bob.
yeah,
Ease
not a
up.
good look
Ease
for
up,
Bob,
Bob.
but
No.
all right.
Well, per the old man, it happens.
It's alleged, but a few cast members said that. Ken has said it as well, but Ken was also a little bit of a bitter baddie after the season. Still, for the freaking immunity, not giving him his own immunity and sacrificing himself.
That's right. For not doing that. How dare you?
All right, next up is a big one.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Okay, big one. Right. We got a big one. All right.
Crystal, stripped of her gold medal.
What?
Oh, man.
Doping?
Yeah.
No! No! That's so tragic. That's so horrible. Why'd you dope? You idiot. That's right. Oh my god. Because this is the period, the Athens 2004, and so it's like everything before Beijing was like huge doping scandals in the Olympics, in the 2004 Olympics, like huge. Oh, that's so awful. Wow.
I know it's tough.
That's so tragic.
I just always think about stuff like this, and it's like, man, that's gotta be tough to watch back. Like, your entire story is constantly talking about how you're an Olympic gold medalist. The reunion. Are you really an Olympic gold medalist? Here it is. I'm a gold medalist. It's for real. And it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, and those were like, those are when they were still like extremely high quality. Like the gold was like, it was pretty much pure gold it's still at that period of time. So
tough.
That's tough. Oh, that's rough.
Still an iconic queen. All right.
She's still iconic in the season, so you got to give it up for that. But oh man, that's
gold for Crystal for the season.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but not for this. I take back what I said about being gold. No, I guess I restrict those. Like you were stripped of your medal.
Damn. You gonna strip her of all of her MVPs for the season as well?
No, she was still entertaining.
All right, I think this is the last one here.
That's rough.
Here's Sugar. Look, she's in LA Noire.
Oh. What?
She played a character in LA Noire. She also had a guest appearance in Gilmore Girls. All right, so she had a couple little.
I'm gonna be real. I did not see LA Noire coming. That blows my mind.
I had to mention that one.
My mind. You do. You gotta. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There she is.
Yeah.
But nothing problematic from Sugar Queen. So
yeah,
she's a bit. I know she did a lot of like Marilyn Monroe stuff, like look-alike things.
Well, she does sort of have those classical kind of looks, like the look like that. So.
And then she had a couple of little gigs like this, so always stood out to me, the LA Noire one. I still haven't played that game, but now look out for Sugar if you ever do.
That's right. Yeah, I guess we do. I have it up there on the shelf. So.
But all right, what's next here? Questions and comments. I mean, there's so much to get through. I wanted to also kind of scroll through previous episodes. Because I always say we'll look back at the episodes and any comments that are worth mentioning that I couldn't before.
Right.
So bear with me as I didn't really have time. It would be way too long to compile all of these.
Yeah.
I just thought this comment was interesting from @RogueMerc, who's on the first episode. Who's like, "Let's go! The best, dumbest, amazing, stupid season ever."
I guess he's a fan.
The Ninja Gamer 1 said, "Hype."
Cool.
Well, let me go back because on my prediction video, I think there was even more people that were saying how they were hyped for the season. Brandon said, "I am pumped for Gabon. So many iconic moments this season for Alec to react to." It's interesting.
Character stuff.
I'll peel back the curtain a little bit because I remember saying we haven't gotten to the rankings yet, but it was like torn. I don't know where exactly. It's a hard one to predict where you'll rank it.
Yeah.
Because before in past drama, you're hit or miss with it, so you don't know.
Right.
But Chris says, I could see, this is talking about you, I could see him going either way with the drama. The drama of the season is hilarious, and I think your laughter is contagious. Thank you so much. So he might
Oh.
soften a bit when it comes to that. For example, I think he'll like the scene where Randy, Charlie, and Maddie are yelling at each other during that golf-like challenge. I don't think he'll like Corinne's speech to Sugar at Final Tribal Council. I think it's a
He
very
was right.
entertaining yet dark moment, but people still hate that speech to this day.
Yeah, I did not like that at all. You were very right. I thought that yelling was hilarious when they were yelling during that golf challenge. That was incredible.
Rogenberg also said I'm going to choose a dark horse for his pre-jury gem, the elephant dung lady. Not quite.
Hey, I liked that. I liked the woman that sucked in the hill. That's a great comment. But
he likes the cultural and adventure-like stuff, and she was committed to the adventure.
she was that. I agree with that. She was committed to the adventure, but just too little.
He also said, I don't think he'll like this season. I've been catching up on the backlog since I discovered you late and recently saw the China episode where he doesn't like when the show feels like traditional reality TV. If he's really tuning out, the way to frame it is if it were like a telenovela writer was given the basic overview of Survivor and wrote the season. Old man challenge beast, Olympian terrible at challenges, pinup model running things, a video gamer being this evil player in the story. How is this reality?
Weirdly enough, there is some I kind of understand what they mean by that. That's kind of right. That's kind of correct. The telenovela plotline.
He also said, make sure to hammer home the post-merge tribe name and how some editor had to edit that in the opening credits to include it. It's small, but it's really the cherry on top that gets funnier seeing it every time.
No bag.
Yeah. It's rough. It's so bad. It's like, I think
it's
Canada's
really
just like,
bad.
oh, no bags, going backwards. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
At Alf2Vic320 said Gabon is a bit of a mess, but it's an entertaining mess. And Chase Ferrier said, I'm going to be the one guy that doesn't care for Gabon very much. I find the pre-merge largely boring to go through, as Fong is just a miserable tribe to spend so much time with. People like GC and Jillian frustrate me to no end. Another thing that largely affects how I like a season is the people that I'm rooting for going far. Personally, I was rooting for the Onion Alliance in the season after the merge. They all get voted out in a row. And people like Kenny and Crystal that I don't like end up going far.
Interesting.
We do see my glorious king and queen, Randy and Corinne, who make this season for me personally.
Fascinating. I'm fascinated by that. Because me and him have the complete opposite feelings towards those pairs. So
me too.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Randy, but you know that the stuff with Crystal, not overly okay with.
No, we did actually read some of these because they were
pertinent.
Yeah,
to the episode. Yeah.
Rogue Merc. So after episode 6, the Ace Hole episode, Rogue Merc said, "Man, Alec is feeling a small rumbling, but has no idea the locomotive that is coming his way and about to derail. I can't wait." Also, Zach, I saw those couple smirks in the beginning when you mentioned it is sloppy, but not on the level of other seasons.
Yeah, this was pretty sloppy season. That's for damn sure.
Maybe the sloppiest. Is it the sloppiest season?
Probably, yeah. There was no bag. No bag was gotten in this season, except for by Bob, the perv. He got the bag.
I knew there was a lot of, I think Chase in particular really likes the confessional of Randy at the merge, not quite merge, where he's holding the glass and he's talking about he's king of the island.
Hey, that's a great confessional. I got to give it up to there.
Yeah.
So that is pretty great.
Okay, Brian Thomas wanted to point out, it might be worth pointing out, that Randy has apologized for what he said to Crystal, and they're now friendly today and have been for a while.
Okay. That's good.
That's good.
You learn from your mistakes, you change, you grow. That's what you do. That's good.
That's all we can ask.
Yep.
At that point.
Still not fun to see. Still not fun to see, but that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Chase Ferrier on Cookie Gate episode, the iconic episode.
Iconic.
Randy's Crash Out episode. As someone who really enjoys Randy, his comments in the last tribal aside, This episode really shows Randy at his best. Just him being a dick to everyone purposely at the highest level is hilarious. Randy claims that he knew the idol was fake and he knew he was going home, but I don't know if I believe him on that. Yeah, I have heard that
Yeah,
before.
yeah. I don't know if I don't know if I buy that. It was pretty good. It was pretty
The only thing
convincing.
that's interesting is that he didn't say a word when he went up. You could take that either way, but he was completely silent and walked up. You can give it any juicy, like, fuck you guys or whatever. I'm staying.
No. Maybe there was an element. Maybe one of the reasons he didn't do that. Maybe there was a small part of him somewhere that thought maybe it could be fake.
Make it way worse.
So, yeah.
Episode 11, Operation Fake Idol 2. Rogue Merc said, "I'm guessing Kenny wanted credit for voting Maddie off to use against Crystal at Final Tribal Council. If he let Bob and Corinne do it without him and made Final 2 with Crystal, he can't take credit for the Maddie vote any more than Crystal could. Or maybe he wanted to flip with Crystal and wanted to have ammo to get Bob and Corinne to vote off Crystal at Final 4. Yeah, I don't know. He did mention something about, like, I want to get a jury votes out of this, essentially, but by playing both sides, I guess.
Yeah. That's a tough move to pull off, though, to play both sides and then get jury votes out of it.
Yeah.
You have to maneuver that in a particular way so that people will respect the game over the hurt feelings from that. So, yeah.
And then on episode 12, Operation Fake Idol 2, which is the most recent one uploaded at this time, Chase Ferrier said Sugar's moral definition of who is a good guy and bad guy changes so much throughout the season, and she ends up being in the middle of the entire game completely on accident. It is satisfying to see the fall of Kenny and Crystal. Kenny really did overplay his hand completely. Yep.
Yeah, no, I actually have to. I agree completely with that Sugar thing.
It's funny because she's in that like the power position just by happenstance each time.
Yep.
Got some meaty comments when I asked. I always now I don't put a video out. I'll put a little post, community posts on our channel, asking for questions and comments for the review. All right. So I'll read as much as I can. Stuff that I can't leave out. Brian Thomas said, "Just wanted to say before my questions/topics that to watch your reactions this season has been an absolute treat. This is my favorite season by far, and to see someone react to it for the first time is so incredibly fun. Obviously, the same goes for the other seasons I've watched on this channel, All Stars onward, but in particular for this one. Love both you guys, love the channel, and will continue to be a dedicated watcher in the future." Hell yeah, Brian.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for... Love finding new blood. That's great.
Yeah, well, he's been here since All Stars. He's been watching with us.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, new-ish.
Eight it's not that new. It's 8.
It's not new. It's not new at all. That has been multiple. It's been many years now. Yeah.
He's a dedicated watcher. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
He also says a lot has been discussed regarding the relative state of non-self-awareness seen in all 3 of this season's finalists. In a sense, and to varying degrees, they all kind of fell upward into the final 3, one might argue.
Yeah.
It's even been said before that this is the first season in the show's history to have a complete GOAT final 3. How do y'all feel about this? Is Sugar a secret mastermind who threw the game away in the Final Tribal Council? Did Susie only get votes because of Sugar's blowing up her game at Final Tribal Council? How much of the game did Sugar really control, or was that the edit? How do you feel? I mean, that's kind of what makes it so interesting for Gabon. So the ending kind of works because everybody did just kind of fall upward into that final 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, all of those are really interesting questions, and I think answers to those may determine why people like and or hate this season. Because I'm like weirdly stuck in the middle on this season. I think because I think there's an element of like that final 3 fits so perfectly, but I would never in my life ever call them goats of anything really.
Well. No, he's saying GOAT. I don't know if you know the phrase GOAT. I don't know if I brought it up before. Like, not greatest of all time.
Oh,
but like
okay. No, maybe I don't know that.
a goat to take the end. So I kind of talked about this in like,
Oh, that's the scapegoat.
yeah, kind of, yeah. Like
Kind of,
people
sort of,
refer
yeah.
to a lot of times in Survivor, it's like, oh, he was a goat, like he was never gonna win.
Oh,
Kind of
okay.
got
I feel like this was discussed before, but I don't remember.
because
Usually,
because
I'm thinking modern goat,
people
like,
kind of credited that to like Brian bringing a goat, like the first person to bring a goat to the end, in Clay,
Oh yeah,
someone
yeah,
who was never gonna win. But
right.
so this is like as if three of those goats all made it to the end,
Hmm.
and one of them has to win.
Yeah, that's extremely true, actually.
So it's funny because
That's
like
so
typically
funny.
the person who's winning a lot of challenges usually
Yeah,
has pretty good chance, and Bob was there, but
yeah.
he's
Bob
just
was
like
liked, you know.
not really a strategic
Exciting,
powerhouse or
right,
exciting either.
right. Um,
But Sugar, is she a secret mastermind? I think in some ways that Sugar kind of should have won the season,
yeah,
but
yeah. That's kind of what I meant when we talked about, like, before a reaction to the final episode. Like, she's I think the most fitting winner of the season, because I think it's the most emblematic of who should win the season because of kind of what it
mhm,
represents. It is a mess. I think it's fascinating because I do believe that Sugar was more strategic than maybe the edit led on. I think we saw little bits and pieces of that here and there. But as somebody who she led way too much with her heart than with her mind. And
mhm.
this game requires you to keep both in pretty heavy tension, but it does sort of I think it does. Your mind needs to be at the forefront, controlling your emotions and keeping things under wrap and keeping you under control, and making sure that you're keeping your feelings in tension, but not losing sight of like the of the passion, or of the, there is, yeah. I had some sort of thought there, but so because I think you do need both, but I think you need to be a little bit more head forward, mind forward, when it comes to the game. And Sugar's not that she's very, I don't think she might be a little like goofy, maybe a little ditzy or silly, and some of that could be due to the edit. Um, but she was clearly playing more forward with her heart, and I mean, we saw that
Mhm.
in decisions made repeatedly based on that. Um,
But
so
I always kind of got the impression that Sugar kind of deserved to win
mm,
because, like, yes, she's playing emotionally. It's mostly driven by her heart, but at some point you gotta give it up when she's never considered to be voted out, and she literally has her thumb on the scale every single time. Like she has an impact
yeah,
on almost every pivotal vote. Like,
most decision, yeah, a lot of the decisions that were made, big pivotal votes were where it's like it was like either her or Susie were like the big players in a lot of those votes, and it was like a lot of it was up to
but
her.
like Susie wasn't doing anything. Sugar
Well, but yeah,
was
but that's
active.
right. Well, that's what I guess that's what
Mhm.
I mean. Like Susie was the passive, whereas like, yeah, Sugar was like out talking to people, making, like,
Like
trying to
yeah,
convince people, and yeah,
like straight up. Uh, when Ken wants to get Bob out with his by taking his immunity, Sugar
right,
stops that from happening completely
right.
by telling Bob, and then
when we're
Bob
voting
Bob
when
was
we're
supposed to be
voting,
gone.
yeah, Bob's out,
She
but she
makes
decides, yeah,
yeah, he never would have gotten there
I
without him.
right,
Um, the obviously the merge vote, she was the pivotal vote that took
mm-hmm,
Charlie out.
yep. She
She
decided
just has her
she got
fingerprints
rid of
over the
Ace.
whole season.
She got
That's
rid of Ace.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it just became a point she didn't wasn't respected enough in the end. Like they didn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't go so far as to say secret mastermind, but yeah, I think probably most fitting, most deserving winner, were player to probably win. Um, but
It did seem like Susie only got votes out of spite, though. I do kind of feel that
yeah,
way that she was just
it
there.
did.
Like
It definitely felt
it's like,
that way.
well,
Yeah,
not only not vote for Sugar, but let's vote for Susie because like really
And it
fucked this
was
season.
yeah, it was like it was all tribal. I felt very tribal lines too. I'm pretty sure it was along tribal lines there. Like they just hated sugar.
Well, it was
I think wasn't it?
Ken, Crystal, and Ken, Crystal, and Maddie. I think voted for Susie.
Hmm.
Or did Maddie vote for Bob? Let me double check.
Yeah.
Because now that I think of it, that's kind of surprising to me that he did vote for Susie. Because he seemed very much like Bob is like if anyone's going to
Yeah.
be dominating the season, I wanted to be
Yeah.
Bob. Yeah, yeah. Ken, Crystal, and Maddie, the three
Well, he
Fong.
looked he 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 might have felt that because Bob lost him like $1 million basically. Like you could think of it that way. There might have been
Well,
some element of that.
and there was this whole storyline that we kind of like didn't see that apparently him and Susie were close. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that a thing too?
That's what they said on the season. They mentioned like, oh, those
Oh
two
yeah.
are like you two are close, and he was like,
Yeah.
that was when Crystal was like accosting him, saying like, you and Susie are like
Oh yeah,
this.
that's
Tell me you
right.
don't trust Susie.
Yeah,
I don't trust Susie.
which is weird because yeah, definitely didn't see a whole lot of that.
Hmm.
But
This is still Brian. I also would love to hear y'all talk about the location of this season in regards to how the challenges were incorporated into the environment. I specifically think of that
phenomenal.
fantastic slingshot golf challenge or the log rolling in the water, amongst many others. Also, I'd like to hear if Alec has any locations he wants the show to go to on future seasons.
Yeah, so phenomenal. Loved the yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think incorporating the environment was. I mean, I was gonna be honest, it's fucking fantastic. Like I wish more places could be that like amenable to because a lot of times they have
Yeah.
to build courses, but like this one, it's like no, you can just use the natural landscape to make this challenge like so cool. Like
Yeah, you
yeah,
can
I
do
mean
these
that's a
wide
huge
open challenges that you can't do in ones that are like
yeah,
the beach ones.
or the deep jungle. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's such a beautiful remote like what a location. Yeah, I mean I think for the first uh place to be in HD, I think it was like they I don't know if they could have picked a better like first thing to go to. I would love I think it would be really interesting to go to some of the more remote places in like they went to remote places in mainland China. I think it would be interesting to do something in remote locations in Japan, forests of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of culture there. I mean, Japan is a fairly small geographical location, but there's a lot of remote places in, particularly up in the mountains of Sapporo. Um, so there you could do some really interesting things in terms of like the camping there, and then of course have you're lousy for cultural experiences up the wazoo when you're in Japan. So
Right.
um, yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I'm a huge Japan fan, so
Right.
anything about that would be really sweet. But um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there. I think a another colder weather climate place would be interesting. Something
Mm-hmm.
like Siberia
Mm-hmm.
or something kind of like that would be interesting. We haven't really seen anything quite like that. I think the closest we maybe got to that was I mean, China, I think got kind of cold at certain periods of time, but like the
Generally
outback
hot
was
shit.
one.
Hot.
It
Generally
was
hot shit.
generally hot. Yeah. So cold weather stuff is like that's a whole different like survival set
Mm-hmm.
you need to have for that. Fire is even more your life. Like fire is always life because you got to boil water, but fire even more is life there because it's like that's how you stay warm at night. So
Hmm.
so yeah.
All right. He says, I know Randy did not get a lot of love from y'all this season. I completely understand and sort of agree
Yeah.
overall that he's essentially this mean hater whose grumpiness gets into some pretty non PC territory, to put it mildly. However,
Yes.
his entire run of being this somewhat strategic narrator early on who makes sardonic and curmudgeonly quips only to devolve into a ball of chaotic negative energy with an absolutely hilarious boot episode, complete with Cookie Gate. Makes me laugh so much every time I watch this season. He has always come off as someone who was pretty self-aware of his perception and did not care, because he went on Survivor to be a character first and foremost. I respect that he gave so much entertainment on the season and that he contributed so much to making the season feel unique in tone amongst the show's catalog of seasons. To me, he truly is the poster child for the season as a whole. They may not be true for everyone who watches Gabon, but hell, I love the entire cast. I could give you at least one reason why each and every one of them was great. As I said before, he has apologized for what he said to Crystal on the show and is now friendly with her today, and is also buddies with Ken, Sugar, and Jillian, all three of whom he also had some beef with on the show. Even though I do love the season's entire cast, I must say that Corinne's comment to Sugar during the final tribal council is pretty classless and has not aged well. I believe she was trying to one-up Sue Hawk. It definitely crossed the line. If she hated Sugar so much, she could have just shot daggers at her from the jury and completely ignored her in her speech, which would have been acceptable. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, I'm going for the snakes and rats, like, brutal speech, moment.
Right. Right, but it was like, there's some lines you got to be not crossing, and
talking about the dead father is another level.
That was messed up. That was messed up.
And also, what are your final verdicts on Ace's accent, real or fake? Surely it's real. Surely he would have dropped it by now at the reunion.
Yeah, you would have think so. I think it's real. I mean, like,
I still think it would have been great to have one accent in confessional and one completely.
That would have been that. See, that would have been the play. That would have been the epic play right there. So that it keeps the audience guessing as to what his actual accent is would be funny. Yeah.
Random Rex said the saga of Crystal's medal is certainly worth mentioning.
We found all about that.
Yeah, it was also because she was in a 4-person team, so there was deliberation whether to disqualify the whole or strip all of them. But I think they let everybody else keep theirs. So on top of that, according to Survivor Florida's every Survivor player ranked by challenge dominance video. Yeah, I saw this. It's statistical how many challenges persons did competed in and lost and all that. Yeah. Crystal's the second worst challenge competitor ever.
Wow. Okay.
Second only to Mookie
hey, there you go.
From Survivor Fiji.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because he was on that Have Not tribe and just constantly losing.
Right. Well, hey, she wasn't doping when she was out there.
Hey.
So, hey.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
Randy was likely the biggest Survivor fan on this season. If you know where to look, you can find his audition video for Pearl Islands. I also now invite you to imagine a season of both him and Fair Play.
That would be something to behold. That would be a sight to see. Wow. Yeah, because Jeff did say that he'd auditioned so many times, a bunch of times, to be on the show.
So those are the ones you least expect.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't count the technicality of Yule's idol, Marcus set a Survivor record by being immune for the first 24 days. So they had one immunity challenges, and then he had that individual immunity when they split.
Oh yeah, right.
So all the way up until the moment he got voted out, he was immune up until then.
Wow.
And then Marcus would later return to reality TV for a show called Labor of Love. I heard about that.
Oh, what's that show?
Reality dating show in 2020. Okay. So it was actually only a couple years ago.
Wow, okay. Kind of recent. All right, cool.
And this dating reality show with a twist, hosted by Kristen Davis, a woman who is ready to start a family must choose amongst aspiring fathers-to-be who go through challenges that put their parenting and partnership skills to the test.
Okay.
So it's all older, more seasoned men that are ready to be fathers.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Hey, we've been through the ropes. We know what we're doing now. We could be dads.
Yeah. This is one I almost forgot about too. Jeff actually quit in the wake of the season, but production eventually convinced him to stay on. Jeff mentioned that he was losing his passion for the show, and this season It was that bad that he wanted to quit. They had to wrangle him
Really?
back in.
That's
I'm
incredible.
like, come on, Jeff.
Jeff, really? I
That would have
mean,
been a bit
I can't
dramatic.
look, Jeff, I kind of get it, but at the same time, you gotta stick with it. Thankfully, he did, you know?
Yeah, he almost quit season 17. Here we are, season
It's crazy.
48 coming up.
Wow. You know, he must have refound it somewhere. You
Yeah,
found the spark again.
I forget if there was more details. I feel like I looked into
Hmm.
it before, but it's like
Was there some contract things maybe a little bit going on there too,
I think
or
what it was is like he was kind of like tired of being just like the reality show host guy.
Hmm.
He wanted to be able to like have his own talk show or stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And then I think what happened is he ended up becoming a producer after the
Okay.
season, so he could actually have more influence
M-
on the
More
show.
of an input on stuff. Yeah. That's actually I'm actually kind of surprised he wasn't able to get that earlier, to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Josh says, "How would you rank Gabon as location compared to the other seasons so far? How does it stack up? Where are the other ones? What other ones top it? You saying China?
Um China's up there. This is right up there. This might be one of the best locations they've been to, just because of how different it is in comparison to a lot of the others.
We got Africa. You got to give it for Africa.
Africa, Africa. Yeah, I mean that season itself was kind of like it's sort of but
Still
um,
pretty hardcore though.
but the location like having to be like you're because you're basically out in the bush there. That was like what they
Hmm.
were the whole time. It was like
Yeah, and they
that's
had to
pretty
like
hardcore.
trek for their water. Like at least one
Yeah,
of the tribes had to like go real far just to get their water.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Guatemala, as like as far as unique
Guatemala was pretty good.
ones.
Yeah, well, that particularly also had really unique, like the tribe locations were super unique in that one.
Yeah,
It
they're
wasn't
right
just
by
like
the
yeah,
temples.
yeah. Trying to think if there's any other like major standouts, but because like a
So
lot,
the island
it's
ones,
unfortunate. A
yeah.
lot of them blend together a little bit, you know. So
And we love our islands. You know,
yeah,
you get
you
like
love it.
the fishing and the moments and all that you don't get on
Hmm.
these seasons, but um, well, we still had that here too a little bit. So
Yeah,
it's just a
Panama,
different vibe.
Panama. No, Panama was okay.
Hmm. How do you feel about Exile Island this season?
I mean, it was fine. It just you found the idol instantaneously, and then it
Yeah,
was just kind of a thing.
and the only
It's
thing,
interesting because Sugar was not along. You know, she wasn't around for a significant period of time. She was gone for like quite a number of days from the tribes in comparison to everyone else, which is interesting. Interesting thing to note as well.
yeah,
But
she was away from the tribes the most,
mhm.
and yeah. So they had the whole like you choose comfort
Yeah,
or the clue thing,
yeah.
and that was only like barely compelling for the first couple of choices,
It
and then it
it
became,
wasn't. Yeah,
Sugar found it really quickly, and it's like who's gonna go out there and believe? But Bob went
that
out
she.
there and he went for the
Yeah,
clue, thinking she didn't have it, and then yeah, 90% of the time it was Sugar again and again. So we've been seeing from Exile Island time and time again. It's like yeah, they're gonna
yeah.
pick the same person, so that
Yep.
if someone has the idols, you know
Right.
where it is.
Right.
So take it or leave it for me.
To me, it's like the only way that would work is if you make a rule that you can't pick the same person to go to exile again. But I don't. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what
that's
would
what he
work.
mentioned. Actually, should there be a
Yeah.
rule blocking the same person going over?
Yeah. Maybe I don't know, but I'd have
Because
to think about that a little longer. But because I can.
like it always seemed like they envisioned it to be something more interesting, like picking
Yeah.
a player to take with you on a reward challenge. It's like who are you gonna send to exile, but then it just becomes Sugar again,
Yep.
same
Yep.
person.
I mean, it would have been more interesting if the other tribe had actually, gone. But
It's
I
true.
mean, Dan went. I guess.
Dan, and he could never get that stink off him.
No, he really couldn't. After that, it was just like poor guy.
Do you feel the season is too mean spirited, or do you like the drama?
I kind of like the drama this time around. Maybe it's character growth. I think we already talked about that in a previous reaction, but it's like you could call it character development. You could call it just this cast. Maybe I kind of was here for because a lot of the mean spirited people were like older, and a lot of the like I would say, well, Corinne maybe isn't like that much older, but so maybe that wasn't a fact. Maybe that's not a factor. I don't know. I think it was a pretty decent balance. I think there's enough. It was enough silly and stupid for most of it that like when it started to get like mean spirited at certain occasions, like
Yeah.
it just kind of like all blended together. Like it never other than like the Corinne moment or maybe Crystal like yelling at Maddie or whatever or
The Randy moment.
the Randy moment, like most of it just sort of all still kind of like fit with the vibe of the mess of the season.
You gotta dilute it a
So
little bit with the
yeah.
fun stuff. Like
Hmm.
it becomes quickly insufferable when it's like the whole season like targeting like a minority and like
Right.
saying awful stuff, that kind of thing.
Right.
So it's not that, at least.
Right.
There actually was a big controversy where Marcus's uncensored penis managed to slip through the
Oh,
censors in one shot.
hell yeah.
Glad to mention
Nice,
that.
dude. Good job. You got your cock on live TV. That's great.
It was like just the tip, really.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Yeah. Just the tip. It's
Susie, similar to Courtney, was told she was going to be cast, but they thought she'd be out early. So that's 2 out of the past 3 seasons. The person they thought would
yeah.
fail miserably almost won.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. If that's the case, that's cool.
Okay, so he says here one of the producers was fired after he started making out with Jackie. So
Okay, that's a little yeah. Okay, that's fireable.
just
Yeah. All
right out
right.
there in the thick of it.
You just starts macking on her. Yeah, that's a little weird.
Hmm.
Maybe don't do that.
He said Sugar was experiencing panic attacks before her final tribal council and was given medication to calm her down, so she was not in the best state to argue why she should win $1 million. Yeah.
Interesting. So they put her on a sedative, I guess, to help or something to sedate her at least.
Hmm.
That's rough.
Okay, he's got a quote from Jeff Probst about him quitting. Right.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Years later, though, the show was drifting," Mr. Probst said. He said the low point was Gabon, which was broadcast in 2008. He said he felt burned out and was also a little self-conscious about being known as the survivor guy. My Achilles heel for a lot of my life was that nobody saw me as a storyteller, that they saw me as a white guy with dark hair who was just a game show host. And then in terms of my own self-image was the thing that could gut me. It was like a kidney punch. The frustration and exhaustion were enough that in 2009 he went to Mr. Moonves and quit. He did eventually agree to return as host with increased pay and more power to influence the show. So now if
Okay.
you hate a player or twist, it's more accurate to blame Jeff. Absolutely.
Because he has a direct influence on it
He
now.
does.
Come on, Jeff. Get it together. All right. Hey, there you have it.
Last one's comments from Jace Ferrier. He said, "Is this
All
season
right.
proof that letting the contestants pick their own tribes leads to the lopsided challenge results so we've seen from Thailand, Palau, Fiji, and should that element be taken away in future seasons?" Yeah, because that is how they
Yeah, that
started. They
has
had
been.
Bob and Jillian, where
Yeah.
just like in Thailand, the 2 oldest got to pick the tribes.
The answer is yes. I don't really think it matters all that much, honestly, because like, yeah, I guess they sort of know each other like a little bit in the during the trip. I think you've said that there's like maybe like a small little gathering like beforehand, like for like a couple hours or something
Hmm.
before they're all going.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, he seems to be making the point that it's like lopsided because they don't properly balance their own tribes when they're
well,
picking.
but that's what I mean. It's like to me, it's like it's like if you do that, it's like yeah, sure, the people don't know each other that well, but they may already have like impressions of certain people,
Hmm.
and when you have them then pick like, oh, I want them, and the next person, oh, I want them, and so on and so forth. You aren't necessarily, not every single person there is thinking of the same thing when they're picking somebody,
Right.
whereas production can kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
right? They've interviewed these people, they've vetted them, they know kind of generally what they're like, what their strengths and weaknesses are. Yeah, I think that I kind of, it's not, I don't hate it, but like we've seen it repeatedly not work particularly well. So, yeah, maybe it's time to retire that. I don't know though. We'll see. I doubt it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What's interesting about Thailand is that they picked their tribes, and it was all the older people that were the dominant tribe. So it didn't really make, it's not like logical.
Yeah.
These would be the challenge beasts.
Right.
So would the season have been better had the Coda Alliance won out in a likely Marcus victory? No, boo. Boo,
No,
tomato.
that would have been horrible.
Sorry, Chase. I know you were rooting for him, but it would have been dry as hell.
No, that would have been pretty rough.
Marcus wins. Somehow, I don't think it's somehow like you could just say it's a likely Marcus win, but I kind of doubt that because people probably all thought, yeah, that's a likely Marcus win. Yeah. So get him out pretty early.
Yeah.
Then we have Randy win. Maybe that was Randy or Corinne's shot to win.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Would have been cursed, but
or Charlie. Charlie could make some plays. I don't know.
Good. All right, I think that's pretty good as far as questions and comments.
Cool.
All right, what's next? Okay, your top 10. All right, we can reassess. So Alec has an ongoing top 10 favorite Survivor players. So every Survivor season, we stop in and say, are we going to add anyone or not? Are you going to change anything? You can add as many people or as few people as you want. How do you feel? So right now it's Rob Mariano, Rupert Bonham, Sari Fields, Rob Sesternino, Todd Herzog, Stephanie LaGrossa, Richard Hatch, Johnny Fairplay, Yao Man Chan, and Jonathan Penner. It's the top 10. Does anyone from Survivor Gabon crack the top 10?
Nope.
No, not making the cut.
No. Dang. No. I think, like I said, fairly entertaining season. I don't think anyone in here was. I was even thinking this early, like kind of early on during. I was like, nobody in here is gonna crack this.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fun, but it's not. Even Ken. I mean, Ken maybe had a shot. If Ken had been able to maybe make not get carried away, maybe Ken could have had a shot. King of Smash, but no.
Mm-hmm. All right, so does this top 10 still look good to you?
I think so. I think this still looks like a pretty solid list here. Yeah, I'm still pretty content with placements and everything here.
All right.
I think, yeah.
We'll continue to revisit it in future seasons for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And on to the rankings. All right, that's it for the season review.
Yeah, hey, there it is.
We're gonna try to get to you the rankings sooner than I was originally thinking, because it's fresh in our minds. We talked about the highs and the lows of the season, so it feels weird to have to wait a week to actually get the rankings out there.
Right.
So we're going to do it right after and rank the winner, rank the season, and then we're going to have a fun collaborative ranking of the Gabon cast. All right.
Uh-huh.
From iconic to hate.
Yeah.
the same scale from before. All right. Thank you for joining us. What a good meaty review as always.
Yeah, it's fun to look. Kind of helps you keep it a little bit more permanently invested in the old brain wrinkles there.
Yeah. What do you think of the slideshow method? Do you think it's good?
It was great. I thought it was a good way to keep everything sort of like on topic, focused, and I think it was a good way to get through it.
It's the future. Slideshows of the future. Like they just I think they just created slideshows like this year. Like it's crazy.
No, I feel like I had a college professor that may have been on the cutting edge there.
Yeah. Well, I just discovered them. So
she used papyrus font though. As for
we're gonna get the slideshows. It took a few years, but we're getting them into Tarqaron.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
It's about time. It's about damn time.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
All right, so stay tuned for the rankings video coming up soon, and then I'll have a prediction video that I have to record for the next season. So I got all the people right. The pre-jury gem, favorite player, the cutie of the season, got him 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Rankings, I mean, it would be pretty remarkable if I got them spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a pretty difficult to pin down
I essentially said, I
there.
pulled up your tier list and I said, if the tier list stays the way it is now, it will put it this part of the tier list, and then I gave a
Mm-hmm.
number out of the total seasons. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where my predictions going based off of it, mostly because you could
Okay.
move stuff around and then the tiers might not be the same.
Right.
So I'll have a
Right.
number in where I think it will fall, and then seeing
Okay.
what the winner. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts. We got Survivor every week, and that means only a couple weeks from now we'll have Survivor
Yeah.
token chains. Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They asked for like what locations you'd like, but a lot of these Survivor locations I never would have been able to name. You know, they
Yeah.
really just.
But hey, Brazil mentioned.
Oh, that's true.
It's because it's in the
Just
Brazilian
we
islands. So
just reviewed
Braz-
Luva de Pedrero,
Brazil
and
mentioned.
yeah. All right, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then.
All right.
In the meantime, what video should they watch next? They should watch. Go watch our ranking the Survivor winners previously,
Yeah.
because that's where we put all the first 16 on there. This time we're only adding the 17th, so there's a lot more of our thoughts will be in that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
and take care.
All right.
No bag. No bag.
No bag. No bag.